We are back with more on the crisis in South Texas. The entire Texas National Guard, 12,000 units now deployed for disaster relief. But as the flood waters continue to rise, we are getting a better idea of just how dangerous all the water can be. Experts say it's likely contaminated with industrial and household chemicals, raw sewage, gasoline, and garbage. That toxic soup can lead to some really nasty problems, including rashes, serious infections, or even worse. Let me bring in an expert on the topic. Dr. Kelly Powers is here. How are you doing?
Good to see you, Kennedy. Thanks for having me on.
So as you survey the landscape, what is the biggest threat?
Right. So when we see floods, we think naturally the biggest immediate concern is drowning, obviously. Other concerns, trauma. Trauma plays a big role when there is slippery surfaces or surfaces that you can't see. People are going to step unevenly, fractures, dislocations, sprained ankles, all of the such. Hypothermia, that's another one. Now, when we think of Texas, we think, okay, it's warm down there.
Yeah, it's August.
It's August. It doesn't take much. It takes about 15 minutes, and if the temperatures are, I actually was doing a stat today, about 75 degrees can even cause hypothermia.
Oh, that's interesting.
Yeah, I was reading that stat. And yeah, and children even faster than adults.
All right, so, you know, I've been reading about some of the floodwaters, and, you know, the worry is always the standing water. And I was reading about a virus called Vibrio that was so deadly in Katrina. 22 people got it, 5 of them died.
Yeah.
Are we seeing any of that in Texas?
Well, it's potential. There's a potential there. The problem is when we think about floodwaters, we think, oh, this is just rainwater. But it's not. It's sewage water. It's coming over the levees, you know, the Gulf Stream coming in. So this is contaminated with, you know, fecal matter, things like that from sewers. And, of course, it's going to cause, from biggest problem, GI, gastrointestinal problems. So that's your nausea, your diarrhea. With, you know, people that are healthy are going to be affected with this. They'll be inconvenienced and have a GI infection. But really the problem is the immunocompromised. So the very old, the very young, and people who have a lowered immune system, this can cause dehydration.
And those are the people who are most in jeopardy as it is, like the most vulnerable citizens who can't take care of themselves and who can't necessarily evacuate themselves. They are the ones who are most at risk, especially, you know, when you're 6, 7, 8 days into the storm and they haven't been rescued. So I've been reading that you should, if you are, in fact, if you are subjected to any of the floodwaters, especially kids, that you should shower immediately to get some of those chemicals and diseases off your body.
Yeah, I mean, I would recommend that, but obviously cleaning your hands, and Purell might be a better bet, because it could come out of the faucet water. I mean, this can be contaminated as well. Another thing to consider is...
So when does the drinking water become contaminated?
It's unknown. I mean, we don't really know what's going on with the reservoirs. At this point, if it was me, I would say don't take the risk. Just drink the bottled water. Another thing we don't think about is that people are cooking with water or ice cube trays. You know, we don't think about that. We're making an effort with the bottled water, but it's important to use it in all facets.
Yeah, even when you're cooking. I mean, you can boil water for 8 minutes at a roaring boil in order to kill pretty much anything that's in it. You can cool it down and drink it later. But, you know, there is bottled water available if people can get to it. But if they can't, then, you know, they have to use those time-honored methods of boiling and disinfection. Are we going to see anything new here, do you think?
You know, the other issue that you just mentioned, too, about having the access. Malnutrition is something to be considered here, especially, again, with the geriatric population. If you're stuck in your house, or worse, on your roof for 5, 6 days, how do you have access to get to your kitchen? And then even if you did, you're going to run out of supplies. So how do you get the food or the healthy, clean drinking water?
That's the one thing I want people to take away from this and to remember from this is be prepared. You know, it seems like you will be, you feel like you will be, but you never know when something like this is around the corner. Thank you so much, Dr. Kelly Powers.
Thanks for having me on.
Very good.